Hey Mark, I just finished up kind of redlining the set and I just wanted to check to make sure that, well, I'll go over the changes that I think need to be made. And then if you want to just give me like a go ahead, they're, for the most part, it's quick and easy changes. I don't think it needs to go back to India team. I wasn't actually sure if that was the intention, is to send back notes to the India team or for me to just make the changes right in Revit, because I think at this point it doesn't seem like it would be worth the time of going back and forth for that, for the kinds of changes that are needed in here. But I did go through the list pretty thoroughly, and I did pick up there's I don't know, a couple dozen little changes. So let's get to them. So, and I think part of this is because I'm like, obviously more familiar with this project. So there were a couple things that aren't just corrections, but maybe other things I'm noticing. So for an example, one thing that I'm picking up, and I'll just go through these by sheet. But one thing that I'm picking up is that I think we do, I'm trying to remember here, but I think we want these to be operable windows. I think we actually have to have these as up for egress, and right now they are fixed windows. So I just made a note here to make these operable casement windows. And then I think so. This would be for the office here and the bedroom. Although I think so, maybe technically this wouldn't need egress if it's not a bedroom, but I think keeping it as operable for egress and keeping the option open there to call it a bedroom would probably be a good idea for the homeowner. So there's that, and then I think there's also, I put a note in there to put a smoke detector for that reason as well. And then I also was saying to that I'm guessing in the bathroom we'd probably want to have something operable here. I was thinking either the top or middle section of these windows, of these mold windows, to be awnings. I don't know if actually they'd be mold, but probably at least two of these to be operable in some way. So I was thinking awnings probably makes sense. Another thing in here is that the frieze is not modeled for this single pitched roof, and then up here on the I guess it would be what, towards the eave of the roofs up here. There's also not a frieze board modeled, and then we also didn't label the roof pitch in this elevation. Um, Moving to A2, the only thing I picked up is that these windows, and again, like I think they were pretty thorough on as far as like the check sheet of things, like everything was looking pretty good for the most part. So a couple of these are just things that I know from the project, but I think we'd probably want to change. Maybe not, but I would think that we'd probably want to keep some symmetry here with what is operable. So maybe have this be the casement and this be fixed, or vice versa. So I was just saying to switch these two. But everything else, I think they got on the plans pretty well. Maybe they're missing a freeze board, or at least a label for the freeze board. I think it is actually modeled in. But that looks okay to me. Um, So there was also, I was noticing this, and this, I don't think this is on the check, but well, a couple things here. So the footing, there wasn't a note for the footings on the deck. I don't know if that's needed, but there wasn't a note for um, how big the footing is, what the spread is, what the reinforcement is. So I would think that that probably needs to get in here if they're planning on building the deck in this, submitting these for the deck permit as well. And yeah, it's not in on the basement. But I don't know. Maybe that's not in the scope of what this set is for. So I just put a note in there. And then I was also this, and I'm no engineer, but this seems like a pretty big. I don't know how they're gonna. I'm guessing this is all gonna be floor trusses, but I think the roof gets stick framed, and I would assume that there is gonna be like a somewhat of a significant point load at least here, right? Carrying this beam, the beam that's supporting these clear stories, like there's going to be a pretty strong point load here and here, and you know, it's not supported through the slab. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the slab is strong enough to support a point load. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it is, but if it's in their scope to engineer where point loads are, I would think that they probably need something in here. I don't know. That's just my guess. Um, yeah, so that was everything, and then I think everything else was good as far as their labeling. Um, for bedroom three here, there was no smoke detector. Um, this was another thing I wasn't sure about. Like, there's quite a few of these walls are 2 by 6 and some are 2 by 4. And I just know looking at this in the field, it might be hard for a contractor to decipher them. So I was thinking probably some kind of labeling system. I don't know if you like to use like wall tags, or just a little note that says 2 by 6. Um, but I think it would probably be worth it to indicate what's 2 by 6 and 2 by 4 in here. And I know that's on your list as well. So I think that this this basement plan especially needs a label for that. And then I think on the floor plan too, or the first floor plan, we had a couple, like the wet walls weren't labeled as 2 by 6. Um, and yeah, I was curious. I don't know if there's a drop beam, but this is again that question about the point load from the roof. Smoke detector, and then I think all the dimensions are here. Maybe I might have added a couple, but I think they're all there. They could all kind of be deciphered. So, um, I do think we probably want to dimension this, although it could probably be figured out. A couple of these seem like they'd be hard in CDs, like just for working in the field and getting what this pop out is and what this. I mean, we could certainly figure it out from here, but I would think adding a dimension here and a dimension here would probably be helpful for the guys in the field. Um, we don't have, we didn't, or in this set, there's no attic access location, and I don't know if that's something that we want to have um, shown in this set. I know this is going to be vaulted, and this is going to be vaulted, but or at least the bedroom is going to be vaulted. But I would think that this space that has an attic would probably want an access point, maybe in the laundry, maybe in the hall room, or in the hall here, and then probably something in the garage, I would assume as well. Um, but I wasn't 100% sure on that. No, yeah. So, um, and then here we're just missing some window tags. And then this is the note for the casement, or just switch these over to casement from the fixed windows. And yeah, this was a little bit, I don't know if I mean, I would think that they'd probably want like an overall depth dimension. So in this overall dimension includes the deck, which I would think that um, I don't know, potentially like the permitting. I don't know how the permitting works, but they'd probably want an overall house dimension, and it's not here. So I mean, I think it could be figured out, obviously, but I would think having that dimension not go to the end of the deck, but to the end of the back of this dining room would probably be something that a entitlement officer would be looking for. And And then I know this is not going to get included on the set for permit, but so I can certainly remove that. But there's also, I was noticing this, and I think I actually put this in here as like having stone everywhere because of how this is sloped, and I didn't know what the kind of nature of this was going to be, but so I don't know if it's a big deal, but I would probably do something to cover up all this stone hatching in some capacity, either like changing it all. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the best way to do that, but probably it looks funny, I think, having all this stone where it would certainly not all be, what is it, veneer begins slightly below grade. So yeah, so that was everything in the set. I think it's pretty, looks pretty solid, and it would take me, you know maybe an hour or so, 45 minutes to just get all these things in the set. But it looks pretty good to me. Okay, thanks, Mark.